All right, guys, day 2 of our review, March 19th. We'll do a little trig review today. So we're going to work on setting up ratios, we're going to find angles, and we're going to find sides. This only works for right triangles, right? You can't use trig, SOHCAHTOA, which is what we'll go over right now. SOHCAHTOA. Sine, opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent, opposite over adjacent. So let's say I had something like this, example number 1. We'll set up a couple ratios. Let's say I had the sine of some angle x equals, I don't know, 5 over 13. So the way I would do this is I would draw out a triangle. Doesn't matter the scale, but it does have to be a right triangle. And then I'm going to pick, it doesn't matter which one you pick, so I'm going to pick this one. Let's say it wants us to find the cosine of x equals question mark, or I could do the tangent of x equals question mark, or I could actually use this angle too if I wanted to. So sine, the way this works is you have to draw out the triangle and you have to figure out where the sides go according to the ratio. So sine x is opposite over hypotenuse. So the opposite is 5 and the hypotenuse is 13. So now what we can do is we can do Pythagorean theorem. 5 squared plus x squared equals 13 squared. So we'll go 5 squared. We'll call it b squared equals 13 squared. So you get 25 plus b squared equals 169. So b squared equals 144, which means b equals 12. So yeah, this is just a 5, 12, 13 triangle. And now we want to find the cosine of this angle. So to find the cosine, it's not having you find the angle. Notice it's not saying find the angle. It's saying find the cosine of the angle. So it wants to find the ratio of the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. So the adjacent side is 12 and the hypotenuse is 13. 5, 12, 13. Beautiful. Cool. So this is kind of the key. If you understand that, you'll be in good shape. And again, this is just all a review here, just making sure everyone's on the same page before we get going with surface area and volume starting in a week or two. Well, 2 weeks. So let's find a couple angles here. Let's say I have a triangle. It has to be a right triangle, and let's say I know this angle, and I know that this side is, we'll just use the same numbers we just used, 5 and 13. And let's say we're looking for this. We're looking for that angle right there, theta. So the way you do this is you say, okay, where is 5 in relation to my angle that I'm looking for? Well, 5 is adjacent. And 13 is a little confusing because adjacent as well, but it's across from 90 degrees, so this is a hypotenuse. And then you say, which trig function do I need? Which trig function do I need here? So I need opposite over adjacent? Nope. I need adjacent over hypotenuse. Yes, I need cosine. So I'm going to do cosine of the angle, call it theta, equals adjacent, 5, over hypotenuse, 13. Now from here, this is where you need your calculator. We need to make sure to hit the mode button. Some people on their tests and quizzes, they get this wrong and it kind of messes them up. Make sure we're in degrees. So to find sides, you use just cosine, but to find the angles, what we need to do is we need to find the inverse cosine of both sides. So when I find the inverse cosine of the cosine, that'll just leave me with the angle equals, and then I just type that into my calculator. So to find the inverse, I go second cosine, and then I want to type in my ratio, which is 5 over 13. So it's going to be 67 point, we'll round to the nearest 10, 67.4. If I wanted to find this one, I would just take 90 minus 67.4. That'll give me that angle. Okay, last thing, let's find a couple sides real quick. So again, let's say I have a similar triangle, but instead of knowing the sides, I know the angles. So let's say I know this is a 40-degree angle, right? If it were 30, I could just use special right triangles. Let's say that's 40, and let's say this is 10, and we're looking for this side right here. Okay, so all you have to do is say, okay, where's 10 in relation to 40? Well, this has to be a right triangle in order for this to work, so that is a right triangle. Where's 10 in relation to 40? It's opposite. And where is x? It's adjacent. And now we use opposite and adjacent, so that's going to be tangent. So we'll go tangent of 40 equals opposite 10 over adjacent x. This one's kind of a tough one because x is in the denominator. So what we need to do is we need to multiply by x on both sides. Now I'll get rid of that. And we'll go x tan 40, which is just a number, equals 10. And then from there, multiplication is holding the tangent together with the x, so we have to divide both sides by the tangent of 40. So x, in a perfect world, you would just leave it 10 over tan 40. That's called the exact answer. If you want to find the decimal equivalent, you go 10 divided by tan 40. You get 11.9. Okay, obviously you can use any one of these trig functions here. Sine, cosine, tangent, all depends on the size that I give you. Other than that, should be pretty simple for today's Math Excel. Let me know via email if you have any questions. Peace.